1290 WHKY Talk Radio for the Greater Hickory Metro. We're going to go to the phones first thing and talk to, there you go. You got the volume in there? Can you hear? We've got a little volume thing down here. You go. Look down on the cord.
Yeah,
you got it? Can you hear me in there? Okay, very good. Let's go to the phones and talk to Tom this morning. Tom, you're on the monthly Monday morning meeting with the mayor, Mayor Rudy Wright. You got a question for us?
Thank you, Al. And Mr. Mayor, you ought to get you some zinc lozenges. That'll knock that cold out. But
okay.
The other day, I was fortunate to be present and hear a presentation by Taylor Dellinger of the Council of Governments, and I received his newsletter, and I really studied it, and this will take some context, but the stats in that newsletter show that this decade, the 18 to 44-year-old population age bracket in the metro grew by just 45 people over the last 8 years, and while the older population grew by 18,589 people, and the population of 0 to 4-year-olds has actually fallen by 8%. To me, that shows that the people of childbearing age are leaving the area. And statistics show that this area has the worst personal income level of any area in the state. People talk about our educational attainment levels being so low, but those stats only factor people 25 and older that have a 4-year degree, not anything about dropouts. I don't condone dropping out, but it doesn't factor into the equation. We get stuck in this notion about education.
Gonna need to turn down that radio in the back, I think. Have you got a radio on? Okay. Go ahead. See if that helps. Are you there? Susie, I don't know if that's on our end or not. See if we can get him to call back and maybe try another line. Tom, we were on the phone with you there. We're going to get you to call back. Don't know what that technical problem was, but we got to start on the question. Tom, if you would, if you're listening, if you hear us, please call back. Don't know what that technical problem was. Younger folks in the community building or having economic development that would encourage young people to come here and stay here. Let's talk a little bit about that, because there were some numbers there that were interesting. Not as many young folks, more old folks. Let's talk about that.
Well, anytime we've had job losses the way we've had them, there will be folks leave to find employment other places. And I guess the people at 18 to 44, maybe they have a little more mobility, perhaps, than some other people, and maybe they have more financial needs. The way I would address that is our small business job growth team has been charged with responsibility for helping us develop economic development ideas that will result in jobs now.
Hold on just one second. I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to bring Tom back on the line. Tom, you there?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Okay, better connection. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead, Mr. Man.
Well, the small business job growth team has been charged to help us come up with some ideas that will result in jobs now. Some things that hopefully will encourage the younger people to stay here and seek their careers here. The people who go off to college and come back. That's one of our objectives. I think the location of Hickory, midway between Apple and Google, presents some opportunities for us.
I think you're right.
And we've asked Scott Millar at the EDC, and we've also sort of planted this seed with this small business job growth team to help us come up with ideas on how to capitalize on that. And we are willing to spend money. We're willing to borrow money. We know that now is the time for us to build the future. And many of us, and I'll admit to being guilty of this myself, I felt that our economy was holding its own under very difficult circumstances until this last recession hit us. And when our unemployment went from 6 to 15%, I realized it really had not been holding its own, okay?
Yes, sir.
We got to do better.
And I'm not wanting to play the blame game. It's not about that. But I've studied the issue thoroughly. I mean, shoot, I don't even sleep at night. And the thing I've seen, because I have 2 college degrees, and I believe I have a lot to offer. But you know, we don't have the jobs in this area currently for people of my standing. So what's happening, and I have so many friends and family that have left the area because they have to have that opportunity. And I agree, the small business task force is a great idea and everything else. The thing that I've seen is that the areas that are growing in this state has those younger people that can reinvigorate the area. And, you know, we can't lose sight of that. And I think we did lose sight of that at one point in time. But, you know, whatever we can do to get those young people to stay or get in here is going to turn our situation around. I thoroughly believe that.
Well, I agree that is very important.
And we think we need people like you. Let me ask you, since I got you on the phone, what's a good way to do that? How do we do that? How do we bring young people in?
I think he's absolutely right. The Wilson has the broadband expansion that took place that the community fostered. And if we get the creative economy and getting people in here like you know, I mean, I'm not saying lawyers, but IT professionals and people such as that, and those will be entrepreneurs, and maybe one of those small businesses can blossom and turn into one of those Fortune 500 companies.
Very good.
That's what they did in Austin, Texas. That's what they did in Seattle. Microsoft. You know, Microsoft was started out of a garage.
Well, we can only hope that we got somebody in a garage working on something that big.
We got people out
there. That would be good.
Me.
Tom, we appreciate the phone call this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care. 327-WHKY, 327-9459. It's a challenge. I mean, when businesses aren't growing, it's a challenge to get anybody to do business of any type. And to bring the young folks in, it's one of the things that, go ahead, one of the things that presents a challenge for the city, for the community, for everybody. So, something that I think everybody needs to take a look at.
Right.
327-WHKY, 327-9459. Small Business Task Force, is that what it's called?
Small Business Job Growth Team.
Small Business Job Growth Team.
Now, they have not decided what to call themselves yet, but that's what we initially labeled it because we wanted it to be understood that it's about jobs. It reflects I don't think that anyone argues that over the long term, small business and the growth of small businesses is what turns recessions around. Big business is important, but not as important as the small business.
We'll be back with more.